Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Laura in the system office, and we're streaming live now. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Regent Montaigne, who will be running the call today.
Thank you. Good morning. This is David Montaigne. I welcome you to the Telephonic Planning and Construction Committee meeting for Thursday, February 11th, 2021. Time is 11 o'clock a.m. Notice of this meeting was provided to Secretary of State as required by the Texas Government Code. Please note the audio of this meeting is being broadcast live. Before we take roll call, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone unless you're speaking. Laura, let's begin the roll call.
Sure. Good morning. Let's start with Regent Montaigne.
Here.
Regent Austin.
He's here.
Thank you. And I believe Chair Scott is absent today, but I'm just wanting to confirm that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We also have Regent Harrell.
I'm here.
Thank you. Regent Flores.
Present also.
Thank you. And do we have any other regents who've called in today? Okay.
Thank you, Laura. Let's have the systems administration.
Sure. Chancellor McCaw.
Here.
Daniel Harper.
Here.
Sean Cunningham.
Here.
Nellie Herrera.
Here.
Do we have any other system staff on the call?
Laura, this is Peter Moss.
Peter Moss, thank you. And was there
Well,
someone
thank you.
else?
Now, are we finished with that one, Laura?
I believe so.
Call the components.
Okay, let's start with Lamar University.
Ken Evans and Jeremy Altott.
Thank you, gentlemen. Sam Houston State University.
Elisa White.
And Carlos Hernandez.
Thank you. Sol Ross State University.
Good morning. This is Pete Gallego.
Thank you, President Gallego. Texas State University.
Denise Strauss here with Lisa Lloyd and Eric Algo.
Thank you, Dr. Strauss. LIT.
Lonnie Howard and Bonnie Albright.
Thank you. Lamar State College Orange.
Tom Johnson, Wendy Elmore, and Mary Wickland.
Great. And last, Lamar State College Port Arthur.
Betty Renard and Mary Wickland.
Thank you. And was there anyone else who's joined us on roll call that I missed?
Catherine Miller with Lamar University.
Okay, thank you. All right. Go ahead.
Bob Jacob with Sol Ross State University as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. That concludes roll call.
Thank you, Laura. Daniel and I had the opportunity to review this agenda prior to the meeting. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Daniel, who will present the Planning and Construction Committee agenda items.
Thank you, Regent Montaigne. Today's agenda includes five items on the committee's agenda. 2 design development documents, the annual deferred maintenance report, our routine quarterly planning and construction report, and 1 addition to the capital improvement plan. The first item is the Sam Houston State University design development documents for the North Residence Hall. This project contemplates the construction of a 5-story residence hall on the north side of campus near the existing parking garage. This 187,000 square foot facility will add 640 beds to the approximately 3,500 beds that Sam Houston currently has. The total project cost is $62 million and will be funded with bond proceeds supported by housing revenue. The estimated completion date is May of 2022, and the information following the motion in your materials includes the rendering, floor plans, and details on the estimate of the project cost. At this time, I'd ask President White or Dr. Hernandez to elaborate if necessary.
Dr. Hernandez, please present this as needed.
So I'll add some additional commentary related to this particular project. This project is necessary to restore some of the housing capacity, some of the bed capacity that we've lost over the last couple of years as we've raised old, inefficient facilities to make way for new facilities on their existing footprint. These 640 beds will restore all of the capacity lost, plus give us some additional capacity to continue serving our students. As you'll recall, at the last board meeting, we also brought to you a design and development project for a companion parking garage that will be constructed immediately south of this facility, in between the existing parking garage and the new residence hall, to support resident parking. I'll be happy to respond to any questions you may have.
Unless there's questions, Regent Montaigne, this concludes the presentation on this item.
So guys, on agenda item number 1, is there any objection to moving this item to the full board? Without objection, we'll move this item to the full board.
Thank you. The next item is Texas State University design development documents for the film and television studio building. This project contemplates the construction of a new 11,000 square foot facility on the San Marcos campus to house the film and TV studio for the School of Journalism and Mass Communications. This facility will be a 29-foot tall single-story structure. The total project cost is $10 million, and the source of funding is higher education funds. Again, following the motion includes the rendering, floor plans, and details of the cost estimate. President Trauth, would you like to add comments?
The only thing I would add, I think you've laid it out beautifully, is that this particular project is on the CIP, but it's not on the capital master plan, because originally we were going to put these studios in a renovated existing building that contained, it's the Aqua Sports Center, and it contained a swimming pool. And as we started down that road, we realized there was an incredible amount of damage in that facility, and it was going to cost more money to renovate that building than it would cost to build a standalone building. But I'd be happy to answer any questions, and Mr. Algo also can answer questions.
Thank you, Dr. Trauth. Unless there's questions, this concludes our presentation on this item.
On item number 2, is there any objection to moving this to the full board? Without objection, we'll move this item to the full board.
Yes, sir. The next 2 items are informational items and do not require a vote. The first is the TSUS Deferred Maintenance Report. As required by Texas Education Code, you will find on page 362 a report on deferred maintenance. This report compares spending in fiscal 2020 on deferred maintenance to the replacement value of the physical infrastructure, either the coordinating board or the replacement value we use on our property insurance program. And you'll remember at the last meeting, the board approved an agreement with Sightline to do a facility condition assessment at most of our component institutions, and the initial results from that initiative will be used in the report to the board next year. The next item is the quarterly routine planning and construction report. Similar to the previous report, construction activity continues to level off. We are now down to around $350 million, down from $1.2 billion. And the activity continues to move from the planning phase to the design phase. Following that summary is an overview of all current projects above $1 million, and then a short summary on each of those projects, and then followed by the final report for the Altech Library Whitliff Gallery expansion and the Blanco Hall renovations at Texas State. And unless there's questions on those 2 items, the last on the agenda for today is the consent item. We have one, and this is to add the Sul Ross State University roofing project to the capital improvement plan. It is $1.75 million. A portion of it will be funded through the remaining tuition revenue bond proceeds from 2015 and an insurance settlement from a hailstorm around that time. And Chairman Montaigne, that concludes my presentation.
Right on item number 5, is there any objection to moving this item to the full board through the consent agenda? Without objection, we'll move this item to the full board. Thanks for everyone for calling in. Unless there's further discussion, this concludes our telephone meeting today. For the record, the time is 11:11 a.m. I look forward to being on the phone with you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.